Well, Democrats are rushing to impeach the president over a call with Ukraine about corruption in the 2016 election. But have they forgotten about this leaked phone call from back in 2014 when Obama officials appeared to be discussing influencing Ukraine's election?
I think we want to try to get somebody with an international personality to come out here and help.
Sullivan's come back to me saying you need Biden, and I said probably tomorrow for an attaboy and to get the deets to stick. So okay. Biden's willing.
Well, Joel Rubin worked in the Obama State Department. He joins me now to discuss. First of all, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And then
thanks, Heather.
Your reaction to that.
Yeah, no, it's great to be with you. And that is a great phone call example of diplomacy in action. And the people talking, for example, Jeffrey Payette, he was career ambassador to Ukraine. Victoria Nuland was the lead official for Europe, the assistant secretary, handling Ukraine as one of the countries. Turns out she actually was a senior advisor to Dick Cheney in the vice president's office in the mid-2000s as well. And they're talking about the elections and how to engage and deal with Ukraine's transition after an autocratic leadership backed by Russia transitioning in a violent period to ensure that the elections were free and fair for the Ukrainian people.
But also, this was before the regime change. And just so people at home know, if you listen to the entire leaked call, the favored candidate who Nuland mentions in that call ultimately is the one who, when the regime change happened, took over.
Now, in 2014 is after Maidan, and then what happened is Viktor Yanukovych fled to Russia. He had invited the Russians actually to invade Ukraine to protect him. And when there was, and this was bipartisan, John McCain was the leading voice in ensuring, for example, that there would be a competition. And ultimately, Petro Poroshenko, when he won the election. But the U.S., we have a long tradition of having both our Democrats and Republicans who are engaged in international democracy promotion to get out and go to countries and help work with different candidates and help work with the democratic systems there to get these elections right. That's an American principle that cuts across party lines for decades now. Ronald Reagan was the big initiator of that vision.
Right. So why not the same type of respect or the same type of, some might call that spin, when it comes to President Trump?
Yeah, well, I think what the concern right now is that President Trump isn't trying to promote a free and fair election in Ukraine. What he's actually doing is he's pushing the Ukrainian government to do something that's in his personal political interest and saying that American aid, which Congress has appropriated, you won't get to protect yourselves until you give me what I'm asking for. That's a very different discussion from the U.S. government talking to Ukraine's government to make sure it has a free and fair election. These are very different universes, and that's why the debate is happening right now about what President Trump said.
I want to get to the next topic, but we do know that right after this discussion happened, by the end of the month, the person that Nuland mentions takes over in Ukraine. He ultimately was under investigation for his own type of corruption. But then we know that 2 months after that, Hunter Biden was then named to the board of this gas company in Ukraine. And then within a matter of days, I think 4 days, Vice President Biden was there in Ukraine. So that's some of the timeline that people question. But let's talk about this. You know, when it comes to discrepancies and how people are treated, let's listen to Adam Schiff on working with foreign dirt when it comes to President Trump.
What's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
We will be back in touch with you through our staff to make arrangements to obtain these materials.
So again, Democrats okay with getting foreign dirt there?
No, actually, what Adam Schiff is saying there is that thank you for providing what you say you're providing. I'm going to have my team look into this, and clearly he didn't run with it. When people engage members of Congress with dirt, for example, or whistleblowing or legitimate ideas that are in the public domain, it's important that the staff review. I was congressional staff. It's not a simple job. And these members of Congress, by doing what he did, he's not saying I ignore it. He's also not running with it to Twitter. He's saying, I'll have my people look at it, and clearly he didn't do anything with it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate you joining us.
Happy to do it, Heather.
All right.